Hi, I'm Sibylle.
And I'm Peter. And we are fascinated by the potential of collaboration.
And we that are the members of the Big House Project.
But why? What does the symbol of the big house mean?
You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete.
Indeed, we notice a lot of people getting very anxious about the whole health emergency. But in the spirit of Buckminster Fuller, we wondered, instead of protesting, what could we do about it?
Yeah, we came about this amazing, originally old hotel, and when we walked inside, because it was abandoned, it just kind of spoke to us. We had the idea of this big house project, building a community that collaborates and connects effectively and efficient.
And we called it, for lack of a better word, the big house. It had 16 bedrooms, 3 large living rooms, and suitable for all sorts of wonderful group activities. In short, it had the word housing co-op written all over it.
At least we could see it written all over it, in our minds and just everywhere.
And although we put up a valiant effort to try to get a group together at very short notice to buy it, we were not ultimately successful. We went back to the drawing board and created the Collaboration Skills course. It's a tool to help humanity build capacity for these kinds of groundbreaking community-led projects. I think Otto Scharmer says it best. Let's face it that our world is a mess and we can no longer keep doing what we have been doing. Central to this big house metaphor is this idea of change, of transformation.
How can we help people to get the necessary tools to achieve any kind of change? Don't wait till change is put upon us. How can these tools be that enable people to be part of the change?
We made a bit of a roadmap that helps to illustrate the metaphor of the big house, if you like, the why.
If we don't collaborate, we cannot make any change. Yes, we can make some personal change. I decide today not to eat meat anymore. I decide from today on to do things differently. This, in a way, is one step, but to make bigger changes, we have to have the energy of more people.
We see this calling to come together and to organize, to provide new models, new ways of doing things. We can only do that when we come together. With globalization, we're all profoundly dependent on each other. The more hearts and minds we apply to this transition, the better. It's about the power of small groups to change the world. We know all this. Those of us working for system change, we conceptually understand the benefits of collaboration, but what does it actually look like? If we need collaboration to bring about change, that implies this sense of connection, this sense of relationships, of having to manage and maintain and learn the skills of relating with each other. We can't collaborate if we can't connect, right? Our why speaks very much to this idea of connection. So this tells us something about connection as an agenda in its own right, that we were engineered to connect, to work together in small groups. We will say more about barriers to collaboration and the science of connection in the future. So while we've started on this journey of C-word, connection really implies this need for good communication skills.
Good communication skills are very important to express what we need in a way that the other person can take it. And when the other person can take our needs and we can take the other person's need, we can create win-win situation.
When our language becomes more empathetic and less violent, our relating becomes so much more joyful, and we're all the more likely to get what it is that we want and need.
If we really get what we need, that gives us the safety, and the safety gives us the calmness, another C word, to be happy within a change and within collaboration and within connection.
We see that humanity is currently evolving new forms of dialogue that gives a voice to the changes that we need. It's a language of possibility, of looking to the future.
Compassion is a very human need. It's a need everyone really needs. To be seen, to be heard, to be felt by others.
Really good communication involves finding the space to hear the spoken and unspoken needs of others and also of ourselves.
Being compassionate with ourselves means listening to our heart, listening to the hearts of the others. We find then our vulnerability and authenticity. And that helps us to feel safe.
In this sense, compassion, or empathy, as it's called in MBC, is foundational to the kind of inner development and transformation that we need. It also speaks to a new model of trust that isn't based on our past experience, but a sense of inner knowing and well-being.
And all that needs a lot of courage. Courage to try new things. Courage to jump in the unknown and experiment. Take this whole thing as a laboratory for social development, as a laboratory for learning to live together, for learning how to be together, for learning how to enjoy each other, even when things get difficult, even when there are different opinions, even when conflicts arise.
Courage gives us the choice to ask for what we really need from those around us and to have initiative to seek out people that can best help us learn and grow. Courage is also about having the capacity to be dangerous enough to stand up to the forces of oppression, to quote Jordan Peterson. I think he's trying to say that we have assertiveness, we have courage, we have this warrior energy.
Without creativity, we cannot create win-win solution. It's difficult to think about new things. It's difficult to connect things we know together in a new creative way. So creativity is needed, and creativity is only possible when we are staying in our corridor of well-being.
Creativity is the birthplace of brand new ideas. But the funny thing is that when we really get into this work and we become more embodied, we become more present, we believe that new ideas emerge from the still, calm place within. And when our older defensive structures are inactive, when we feel really grounded in our body.
Creativity needs collaboration and communication because we can inspire each other, and part of an idea might help another person to add another part to that idea and a third person. So we are creating new things together.
We also tap into our intuition when we are calm and we feel safe. We have access to that still inner knowing. And lastly but not leastly, if we want to change a habit, the first step is noticing. So we really need curiosity. Why are the things the way they are? Why do I react like that?
Why don't we try something new? How would it be if we tried it? Just be curious. Doesn't matter if we fail. Okay, we learned something that wasn't the right way, so we try it in a different way.
And we know that we can't be curious if we're stressed and anxious.
When we're stressed and anxious, we tend to just stay in the corridor where we know everything. We won't try new things.
It's this curiosity that's the key to examining old structures, both within and without, to see what's still useful and what's not. And so now, as we close our circle of our little map, as we change ourselves, the world naturally and inevitably changes with it. That is why our why is not just about solving problems of the world. When we come together in celebration of our common humanity, It's very important and a very natural outcome of all of this work.
We need celebration. We need fun. Without celebration, without fun, we don't want to be curious. We don't want to be creative. Courage is missing. Compassion is missing. Only dividing communication occurs. So when communication is dividing, there's no connection anymore, and then there's no collaboration. To change things, we need to celebrate what we achieved. We need to celebrate small steps to ensure that we keep on track.
And when we do this work, we naturally gather together in devotion to share our highs and lows, to sing and dance and to share food, to touch and look each other in the eyes, to be seen and to see. You might call this Theory C in the spirit of Otto Scharmer. We see the circle as our symbol of collaboration. It's a place where we are all equal, where we all have a voice and a part to play. Conversely, instead of dishonouring our common heritage and aspirations, instead of squabbling over the few remaining scarce resources, instead of trying to fix things on our own, atomized and divided, instead of trying to heal on our own.
The project is about turning towards each other. It's about supporting each other as we go through the climate and technological transitions that are coming.
It's about learning to find comfort and support in relationships.
It's about asking for help.
It's about healing whatever's in the way of our cooperating. In spite of our stories and our legacy, this sense of coming together to work together, it's what we mean by polyvagal informed community. By learning, practicing, testing, trialling these ideas, that's an essential part of our project, of what we are, of what we aspire to be. It's about developing, offering and sharing, learning and teaching resources for these new collaboration skills for the future.
It's about building a network to connect and support those interested in this work.
So in summary, for us, the Big House is a wrapper or a container for this idea of exploring what a world might look like where we are more connected. So if we come back to the Big House metaphor, we see this project as a research project, a kind of social laboratory for experimenting with innovations in the collaboration space. And perhaps part of that work is finding one or more homes in which to practice and experiment.
Another part of the practice could be using the collaboration skills at the workplace or at communal projects.
Taking it to schools, into new parents. The possibilities are endless.
What we learned so far on our path for the Big House project is, yes, it's an important path. We are on the right way. We have to enlarge this vision.
And if it's about finding a house for this work, it's recognizing that that's a means to an end and not an end in itself. So we're in the early stages of restructuring the project to better reflect these overarching objectives.
We are looking for people who resonate with these ideas and invite you to get in touch with us.
And until then, we will see you next time.
Bye.